So welcome to another very interesting challenge in HackerRank, and today we are going to be solving the problem of migratory birds. As you know, we have this challenge, we have a whiteboard, we also have Python, PyCharm here, so that in case we need to explain something, we're going to do it in the whiteboard. If we have to write it, we come here. So let's see what this problem is all about. It says given an array of bird sightings where every element represents a bird type ID, determine the ID of the most frequently cited type. If more than one type has been spotted at that maximum amount, return the smallest of their IDs. Alright, so let's see what this is talking about. I'm going to go to my whiteboard and explain this problem to you. So what we have is a situation where we have an array ARR is equal to 1, 1. Now we want to first find out the index of the most frequently occurring element. Let me kind of use a secondary and then I try to explain it one more time in a more clearer manner. 4, 5. So in this case, we have 1 appear once, 2 appear once, 4 appear twice, and 5 appear once. So in this case, the index will be 4 because it appears twice. Okay, let's look at this one. 1 appear twice, 2 appear twice, 3 appear once, 4 appear once, 5 appear twice. So in this case, we have 1 appear twice, 2 appear how many times twice, 3 appears once, 3 appears once, not twice, that's 4 times, and 4 appear once, and 5 appear twice. So now the most occurring element is 1, 2, 5, because they have the index of 2. As you can see, so we have 1, 2, and 5, okay? So in this case, we are going to return 1 because it's the least occurring, is the least index specified. So I'm going to set up the algorithm now and it's going to be really clear for you. Again, in a situation like this, you need to use some other data structure to store items. In this case, we are going to need to use a hash table. So basically, we have something like this. We will first have a hash table, let's call it map, which will be empty initially. So this map is going to be holding the count of how many times each element appears on the list. So we are going to now say for elements in the original array, ARR, for elements in the original array, we are going to check if it's in the map. If map contains, I don't think this is a syntax, but let's assume we are writing it in the code. If map contains the element, then we are simply going to increment the count by 1. So I'm going to say map of that element plus is equal to 1. We simply increment it, else we are simply going to add it to the map by saying map of that element. So this is a way to add to the map like this. So at this time we build up the map where it contains a count of how many times the element appear in the array. So assuming we have our hash table or our map to be something like this, let's assume we have So we have our key and we have our value. So the first thing we want to do at this point, let's say we have 2, 1, 4, we have 4, we have 3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first thing we want to do is to get the maximum value. So I'm going to say the max value here is equal to the max of these items. So I can just use a max function, the max of the map values, map.values. So in this case, we extract the maximum value, which is 4. So the final thing we need to do is we are going to now iterate this list and find out all the keys that has the value of 4. So I'm going to say max keys just for to make it simple will now give us 1 and 4, right? So it's going to give us 3 and 4. And at this point, we are going to return the minimum of these items. So let's call it max, the minimum of these max keys. So I think it's fairly simple. So we extract the max value from here. We get the max keys, the keys where we have the max values, that's here, and then we return the minimum of the two. Let's go to HackerRank and then let's write this code, and you can see that it becomes interesting. I'm going to be writing it in Python and let's see how it plays out. So the first thing we want to do is to initialize our table to be an empty dictionary. In Python, you implement a hash table or a hash map or a hash state using a dictionary. So I'm going to say for elements in the array, what we are going to check is that if this element, let me see if I can increase the font a little bit. Yeah, perfect. So if this element in the table, we simply increase the count by saying table plus is equal to 1, else we simply add it to the table if it's not there. So I'm going to say table ELE is equal to 1. So I'm adding it to the table. So at the end of this list, we build up our map, our hash map. So the next thing we want to do is to get the max value. So I'm going to say max value is equal to the maximum of table.values. So that's basically what we do. So we get the maximum of the table values. Now that we have the maximum of the table values, we are now going to extract all the keys with this value. So I'm going to say max keys is equal to, this time I'm going to be using list comprehension. Just in case you don't know, I've done a tutorial in list comprehension. You can just check the link that is showing above this video right now. You can just go there and learn about list comprehension. So I'm going to say k for k in table.keys. I'm going to now use an if statement, which is a conditional. If that key, if the value for that key, if the value for that key, which is table k, is equal to the max value. So in this case, we have the max keys at this time. So these are the keys that contain the max value in case it's more than 1, or even if it's 1, it also gives you the keys for that value. And we are simply going to return the minimum of the max keys, like this. So basically, we've solved this problem. So I'm going to go ahead to submit it. Please take some time to get your head around how it works. So I'm going to submit and let's see how it plays out. So it passes the 2 test cases, as you can see. I'm going to just submit this code and let's see. And you can also see it passed all the test cases right here. So I'm going to be stopping here, and I would like to thank you for being there. If you come this far, a big thumbs up to you. But I'd also like to remind you to subscribe to my channel and also leave me a comment if this has been informative for you. We see you in the next challenge, and remember, I'm Kindson the Tech Pro, and I'm always there for you.